Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also continues saying, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ. Breastfeeding, lactating mothers can breastfeed their babies for 2 complete years. لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَن يُتِمَّ الرَّضَاعَ. For all that want to, complete the 2 years for breastfeeding babies. So that is to say, it's not compulsory that you must breastfeed your baby for 2 years. But if you want, you can breastfeed for up to 2 years, that's 24 months. وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ. Breastfeeding. What is breastfeeding according to the Sharia? Is it you must breastfeed the child for a day that you are his, breastfeeding mother? Sometimes it's not very necessary that the one that gave birth to the babies are the ones to breastfeed them. So we're going to hear in this class, inshallah, some examples of this. But they have the status of their mothers that gave birth to them. Any woman that breastfeeds a baby is now equivalent to his mother that gave birth to him. That is what the Prophet ﷺ says. But then scholars want to know how much suckle is the baby going to suckle from a woman's breast, because before she becomes his breastfeeding mother. Some will say until he suckles to his fill. Others will say like 5 times or more. Some will say when he suckles to his fill, that he doesn't need again to suckle the breast of any woman. He's now filled. Maybe he just sleep and have a rest. And another thing is that scholars say, because Allah says, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ. That is to say, after حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ, after 2 years, even if that baby suckles any woman's breast, is not equivalent to the mother that gave birth to him now, because he has been weaned. So all babies after weaning that suckle the breast of women has no effect, no Sharia implication after 2 years. Allah knows better. Then Allah says, وَعَلَى الْمَوْلُودِ لَهُ. The husbands, that is the fathers of the babies, those that have been given birth for them, رِزْقُهُنَّ, he is to provide the provision for sustenance, for food, وَكِسْوَتُهُنَّ, clothes, بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, according to his might. He's going to provide the food that the mother is going to eat and the baby, and he is to provide the clothes they are going to wear, to use, at least during this lactating period. So you see, some of our men, after divorcing their wives, having babies, they will just, send them out and not take care of any responsibility. This is wrong. You have to take care of everything she needs as regards feeding, clothes, and even housing, where to stay if she doesn't have an accommodation. You have to provide for that. But Allah says, bil ma'ruf, according to your might. If you cannot give her the best, maybe you give her what you can. And she must not force you to give her more than you can afford. لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. Nobody will, overburden a soul except what it can bear. You should not be forced to do things that you cannot afford because you separated with your wife. No. Do what you can, but do your best. إلا لا تضار والدة. walidatun bi waladiha. And you must not also harm the mother because of her child. Don't deny her anything. Don't deny her food. Don't take away the child from her if she wants to breastfeed her child. Don't deny her any of her rights because she has a baby with you. Allah says, لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده. And the father should not also be harmed or cheated because of the baby. Maybe she might need, like say, a few thousand naira for her upkeep for the month. Then she doubles or triples it because she wants to make life difficult for the father of the baby because he divorced her. Don't do that. The baby has no fault. So don't use, the position of, because of the baby, then each of you should harm the other person. Don't do that. Allah says, وَعَلَى الْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. And those that are going to inherit the duty, maybe the father has died, and then now she's breastfeeding a baby. Those that are inheritors of the deceased father are going to take all these responsibilities also. They should provide for her feeding, clothes, and accommodation, just as if the father was alive. Because you are now his heirs, so you inherit everything. You give her all that are supposed to be given to her. Don't say, you have to be, considerate, your husband has died, so now we're just his heirs. No, you give her all her rights. If she forfeits any of her rights, that is her own volition. But you must give her all her rights. وَعَلَى الْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ فَإِنْ أَرَادَا فِصَالًا. If the couple wants to win the baby, أَنْ تَرَاضٍ, after they have agreed. So you see, the woman, even if they are not together with her husband, and she wants to raise the baby, she must consult the husband, the former husband, the father of the child. Say, okay, this child is about to be weaned. How do we go about doing it? And taradin, let them agree. Yes, let's wean the baby. Let's take him off breast. What a showering. Let them, consult, make consultation. Then Allah says, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمَا. There's no harm. They can, understand each other and then wean the baby. وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَن تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ. But if you want to take your babies elsewhere for breastfeeding, the Arabs used to do this, especially in Jahiliyyah period and even in Islam, that they will want to take their babies to the villages for breastfeeding. They used to have professional women that breastfeed babies. You just take a few herbs and then you see you see milk in their breasts. And they take, babies from well-to-do people for steeping. They will give them some money and so on, then they breastfeed the baby. The importance of this is that, one, the babies are going to be stronger because they will be raised in the villages. They can run around and then maybe do 1 or 2 trades of the villages. And then they will learn their language strongly. Because in the villages, they speak pure language. But in the cities, you see, we mix the language with the European tongue. You have to say something, you say it in English. As in our case, the colonizers are Englishmen, so we speak English. In towns here, we communicate more easily with English language. But in the villages, you don't see any English word. Everything is pure language. So your child will grow up to learn how to speak the language well. Unlike in the cities, we see our children cannot speak our language 100%. They will always want to mix up with either pidgin English or English itself. So it's one of the reasons why they want to take their children to the villages for breastfeeding. So this one, and then scholars say there are some conditions why, if you want to give your babies for breastfeeding, one, the conditions are the father must be able to pay. If he doesn't have the wherewithal, he cannot pay the breastfeeding, the surrogate mother, then there's no need for taking babies for breastfeeding away. And number two, if we can get, yes, another woman that the baby can, suckle her breast. Otherwise, because some babies are very clever, they will not take and suckle any woman's breast if it's not their own mother. Because when they are breastfeeding them, the babies used to look at the face of their mothers and then they memorize it. So whenever they see their mothers, they will be very happy. They want the mothers to take them. So if they see other women, new faces, they will cry. And they will never ever suckle that other woman's breast. So in this case, you cannot take your babies for breastfeeding. That is wujud ghayr al-hukm. Then finally, if the baby can accept other mother's breast, other woman's breast. When Musa alayhi salam was a baby, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, told his mother to just put him in a cage or something and then throw him into the sea. Because Pharaoh and his men are searching, scouting for male babies to slaughter. And when Pharaoh's wife, was going around with her maid just to see town, they came by the seaside and then they saw this baby. Instantly, she became obsessed and wanted to take Musa alayhi salam. Allah says, وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِنِّي. I made sure that she loved you. So she asked Pharaoh to spare the life of this baby. Let's train him. Maybe he will make him as our child to inherit you in the future, or something else. Pharaoh didn't accept that, but he couldn't stop his wife from keeping Musa alayhi salam. So what I want to mention is that the baby needs breastfeeding, but every woman that was brought to breastfeed Musa alayhi salam, he refused to suckle her breast. You see, some babies are very clever. If they see the face is a strange face, they will just continue crying until when his sister, suggested to bring their mother for the job. And because they were so, disturbed by the case, by the situation, they never thought twice. Why are you saying we should call somebody to breastfeed this one? Who are you? How do you know that he's going to accept this one that you are going to bring? They didn't, question that because their mind was just so disturbed. And when Musa's mother, alayhi salam, came and gave him her breast, he looked at her and then started suckling. They could not, reason to say, let's question this woman. Who is this woman? No, they were just happy. They say, alhamdulillah, we've gotten a woman. So Allah says, we'll return you back to your mother with also a salary. You can see God's mercy. So what we are saying is that these three conditions must be met. The father must be able to pay and then there should be a second woman, another woman that can breastfeed, and then thirdly, the baby must be able to accept the second woman's, breast to suck. Otherwise, you don't take your babies for breastfeeding. But the Arabs used to do that. So now Allah says, وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَن تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ. If you want to give out your babies for breastfeeding, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ. There's no problem. إِذَا سَلَّمْتُمْ مَا آتَيْتُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. As long as you can give, in abundance, you can give in kindness what you can offer for the woman. Be kind. Allah wants us to always be kind. Always be generous. Don't be so stingy, miserly. No. Be kind, be generous. For the best you can, the best you can. Do not overburden yourself. Do the best you can. Allah says, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْهِمْ وَإِنْ أَرَدْتُمْ أَن تَسْتَرْضِعُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذَا سَلَّمْتُمْ مَا آتَيْتُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ. Fear Allah. وَاعْلَمُوا. Know that أَنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Allah is always seeing what you are doing. So Allah knows everything. He sees you. He knows what you say, what you do. He knows your capability. If you can give more, Allah knows. But He says you should not overburden yourself. لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. Allah says we are not overburdening any soul except what it can do. Do what you can, but do the best you can. Allah knows best.